Keep it cooking in the oven. The oven. The oven. Yep. The oven. The oven. The oven. The oven. Yep. The oven. The oven. Smells good. The oven. The oven. Yep. The oven. The oven. The oven. Yep. The oven.
The very best Donald Trump impersonator, Jason Scoop, in the building.
Unbelievable, right? I didn't know if you wanted me to talk. That's incredible. Look at that. Governors, right? Great in terms of comedy, in terms of, club. What a great place, right? Unbelievable.
Right in our backyard, man.
The Oven Pod, right here.
Right here.
It's a good guy. Terrific person. And I know people. Okay, believe me. Woo! Great to be here, folks.
Let's go.
For real, man. We gotta start off by thanking James and Ozzy for making this happen. Tony for engineering back here. All the unbelievable people, the team at Governor's Comedy Club. I mean, this is, like I said, right in our backyard. We're in Levittown tonight. And honestly, it's full circle to come and do this, especially with you, man, in our backyard.
Yeah.
We got MacArthur over here, Division on this side.
Man.
I love it.
I love it. It's the Bloods and the Crips coming. Handing out water to underprivileged children of color. Yeah, it's great. All colors. We love the colors, right? Yeah, no, this is great. This is incredible.
That's my cue. We're the Oven Podcast. That guy all the way on the other end is Franco, my Croatian co-host, a.k.a. Papa Fazul.
Papa.
Don't forget, follow us on all socials. Keep sharing the show and spank that subscribe button on YouTube. And don't forget our two partners, both with promo code OVEN, Dubby Energy and Underdog Fantasy.
Nice and easy. We love it.
That's it. So, dude, tell us right now, before we jump into everything, we have to know, were you involved in any of the Diddy parties?
Definitely not. Definitely not. I've been around some rap hip-hop stuff. Yeah, and it's all weird. Even if they're not trying to be weird. Like, it's just a little too...
Touchy-feely?
Well, there's that. But it's also just like, I don't know. It's like a dark energy. I've heard so many weird conspiracy-like-esque things over the years from people. Like this one girl... she was like, oh yeah, I used to fool around with, I guess I shouldn't say the rapper's name, it's a famous rapper. And she's like, yeah, he told me he sold his soul to the devil. And she was telling me about rituals and all this stuff. And I'm like, what? I was so caught off guard. Yeah, I mean, and then I sort of went down a rabbit hole myself on the internet looking up stuff after I met this girl or whatever.
As you should.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I think there's definitely a lot of very weird. There's we all like sex and stuff. Like we're all normal. Like,
we love it.
But there's like a weird, like when you're around music people, it's like I had a 5-some last night. No, I had a 6-some. I had a 10-some. I had an 11-some, and I'm like 11-some. I'm like, I'm happy with just a 2-some or it's just all. You know what I mean?
Just give me some missionary. I'm
yeah,
good.
Exactly.
What are you trying to prove?
Right. Yeah, and then everybody. Yeah, it seems like everybody's all over the place. Playing for all different types of teams. It's just weird. It's just the music industry is weird. Now that's not to say I don't know. There's some very talented people out there who deserve to be, but. I don't know. There's some other people who aren't so talented, and they seem to be winning Grammys. And so, yeah, who knows? I don't know. I try to not even think about that stuff because I feel like it just like you just start thinking about it. You start connecting dots, and there's no way to ever connect all those dots. Like Epstein, Diddy, all this stuff. You're just going to end up crazy pulling hair out of your head in a basement somewhere. It's just, yeah. So, I don't know. I just try to...
But once you connect all those dots, they off you. So.
Oh, well, yeah. There's also that.
You can't connect those dots.
There's also that, which is very real.
I mean, so like, I think
in
like
the industry,
like for me, like 50 Cent is like the realest. Like in like in the music, like just in the game, really. Mm-hmm. I loved his interview where he was like, Diddy was like, yeah, I'm gonna take you shopping. He's like, no, you're fucking not.
I saw that.
Like, we're not going shopping together.
It was very funny, and I think he was pretty new in the game when he had that encounter, and I think a lot of people just go, yeah, take me shopping, Diddy. So he had the balls to just be like, what? And but I think a lot of people think they get people when they're vulnerable, and I think the way they get most people, because when you're young, they're like, would you do this for $1 million? And you're like, I don't know, I would never do that. But the thing is, I think you see a friend of yours get a bunch of stuff. Mm-hmm. Okay? And then you're like, wait a minute, what? You see all the things this friend is getting, all the accolades, and that's when they get you. They're like, all you got to do is get fucked in the ass. Can I say that on this? Yeah. And then, boom. And then it's the envy thing. People get envious of other people.
Yeah, like the exclusivity again. Like,
yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't care how much I envy Franco. No one's fucking me in the ass. Okay.
Well,
I don't even let girls stick a finger in my ass.
No, I don't like that either.
No, I'm not into that.
Yeah. Well, I do like if they lick it like as a power thing, like ha ha. But
does that happen?
Once or twice. Yeah. I feel like this took a left turn way too early.
No,
Talk like that should have come like 45 minutes.
It's never too early.
So, want to jump right into it. How did the Trump shtick become your thing?
It's a good question. So I've done impersonations literally since I was in elementary school, since 3rd grade. I remember it like it was yesterday. I started watching Saturday Night Live, 3rd grade. It was the 2000 election, Bush versus Gore. And I'd come into 3rd grade, I'd be like, we're going to hunt down the evildoers. Al-Qaeda. I mean, this was, I guess, a little bit before Al-Qaeda because that was 9/11. That was 2001. But you get the point. I was doing Bush and like Gore, like Al Gore and blah, blah, blah. And then, I just kept doing it. And then, I did stand-up for years and years and years. And then, but things started kind of taking off for me once I started using like TikTok.
Oh, of course.
And, all the internet stuff. And, it's funny. I did Trump for 4 years of his presidency, but I never really posted it online until the day Biden got inaugurated. And I was with a friend at the time. We were watching the Biden inauguration, and I was just watching him kind of like making fun of it, like imitating him. And this friend was like, you should put that on TikTok. I didn't even have TikTok at the time, so I downloaded the TikTok app. I uploaded my Biden video. And then, I don't know, I was like, I just like got drunk. Yeah. And then I woke up the next morning and it was like 500,000 views. By the end of that day, it was like 2 million. And then I just kept going. And I started uploading all the older Trump stuff I'd done and new Trump stuff. And then it's just kept growing and growing and growing. And yeah.
On your first TikTok.
My first TikTok, which
absolutely blew up.
Yeah, from the jump, and then that first TikTok like took off.
Yep.
And then for the very first time, I started making like real, actual money in this stuff, where people would be like, "Oh, could you do Trump wishing my dad a happy birthday? Could you do Trump wishing my sister a happy anniversary?" And then this is 2021. Then that Christmas, I started doing like more Biden stuff because that stuff was blowing up. I was like making fun of like Sleepy Joe or whatever. And like I would be Biden, and my friend would be dressed as Secret Service, and he would push me around in a wheelchair, and I'd just be like, Africa America, the LQBG, come on, man, you know the thing. Like I wasn't even like, basically, I was just making fun of Biden using like these groups of people. Like I'd be like, the Africa America, LBQ, like I would just basically scream. And then I got kicked off of TikTok because I think they thought I was like making fun of the gay community, but I really wasn't. I was making fun of Biden,
yeah,
kind of using those groups or whatever, like he does or whatever. But so yeah, I'll never forget the like every Biden video I was posting was like millions, every single one. And then the last one I did right before I got thrown off, it was Christmas time, it was December, and my friend was pushing me in a wheelchair through Grand Central Station. It was like rush hour. And I'm like, particularly African American, LQBGT. And then I uploaded that one. It literally got like 10 million views. And then, boom, I open up the app and it's like, you've been permanently banned. So, yeah. So then it's like everything I'd worked for, everything. I was super depressed. I made a new TikTok, but I made the mistake of just uploading all the same videos. So they were blowing up, and I was like, I'm back. And then they kicked me off again. And then I was like, okay, I got to focus on like Instagram now. And boy, did I watched every YouTube tutorial, how to blow up on Instagram. I blood, sweat, and tears. I tried every trick, everything. It wouldn't budge. It just wouldn't. It was, maybe very, very small incremental growth. And then that July, I made a new TikTok, and I said, let me really be careful here. Let me really color in the lines. Let me be really careful. Don't mention any letters. No L's, B's, G's. I could say African American, I could say all that other stuff, but particularly for whatever reason, you even get anywhere near the letters, boom, you're like, it's crazy. So
It is.
yeah, and I got nothing against the letters. I just want to say, but it's like, dude, it's like sensitive land. But so I made a new TikTok. I didn't give up. I kept going, and to this day, I still have that TikTok.
And
Let's go.
Yeah,
Killing it.
and then everything really changed for me from whatever level I was at before to everything, whatever it is now. The explosion happened the day Trump got indicted. I went down to that courthouse, and then that's when like everything changed. Like my whole life changed. Everything changed that day.
Good for you,
Yeah,
man.
you love to hear it, man.
And what was it like meeting Donald Trump?
So I met Trump all the way back in November of 2015, and yeah, he's like everybody says, he's like super. Well, first off, when he's talking to you, even though he was running for president at the time, this was the first time he ran, but he like looks at you and talks to you like it's just you and him.
Yeah.
You know, he looks you in the eye. He's funny. He's real. He's just like just like the three of us. He's just like a real person. And, I mean, the story behind that is also kind of crazy. When he announced he was running for president, you guys might remember, he was, like, basically trashed by all the media. They were calling him racist. They were literally this was the day after he came down the escalator and announced he was running. I was at a bar that night with my friends, some comedian friends of mine, and they had his face on the cover of the New York Post, who just endorsed him, the New York Post, and he was in clown makeup, and they had a bunch of quotes he said at the announcement, and they were making fun of him. And I just looked at my buddy Mike, and at the time, literally just I'm a comedian, I'm drunk, I was like 23, I think, at the time. And I said, literally just as a joke at the time, I was like, bro, what if I got a Trump 2016 tattoo? And he just goes, dude, if you get that shit, I'll pay for it. And then next thing you know, he called my bluff. I got a Trump 2016 tattoo. And this was like 2 days in. So I was like, I liked it, but I wasn't like, very quickly after this, I became like a legit supporter. I'm like, this guy's fucking great. But when I got this tattoo, it wasn't because I was just like, yeah, he's going to win. It was more like I was drunk. It was the biggest news story in the world. I just knew him as the guy who had The Apprentice, and he was just roasted on Comedy Central with Snoop Dogg and like Lizzo. Not Lizzo at the time, I don't even think, but like it was like Snoop Dogg and like, all the celebrities.
Martha Stewart?
Yeah, Martha Stewart.
Mike the Situation.
Yeah, Mike the Situation, Sorrentino. So it was like, it was just fun. I just loved it as a story. I'm like, this is so great. And then next thing you know, as the months go by, he starts gaining traction. He's up in the polls. He's crushing the debates. Only Rosie O'Donnell. So then he announces he's doing a book signing, and I show up, and he's like, I love this kid. And he's like, come here. So we go to the media, and we're just standing, all the cameras, me and Trump. He's holding up his book. He's pointing at my arm, and he's like, yeah, I got to win for this kid. Then he goes back and sits down, and then I go to walk away, but the media's like, no. They're like, how old are you? Where are you from? Yo, you're a comedian. Okay, blah, 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 blah. So once they were done with me, I walk off, and this other guy, Marc Halperin, he was on like MSNBC at the time, and he was like, so you're a comedian, you want to do some jokes for our camera? So I'm like, sure. So at the time, Obama was president. Start doing that. And you know the thing, the whole Obama. So he's like, do you do a Trump? I'm like, do I do a Trump? Hell yeah, I do a Trump. And at the time, it wasn't even as good as it is now. But I start doing my thing, and he's like, would you be willing to do that in front of him? I'm like, hell yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. So he brings me over to Trump, and he tells me, he's like, dude, Trump, man, when we give him questions he likes, he gives us access. We interviewed him at the Woolman Rink in Central Park yesterday. He liked, the questions we asked him, so we could do anything right now. We can go up to his fucking apartment. So I'm like, all right. So he takes me over to Trump, and he's like, Trump, the tattoo guy does an impersonation of you. Do you want to see it? And he had one camera on Trump. They had one camera on me. And I did it, and Trump was like, very good, very good. He's better than the pros. He is a pro. And then they edited that together, and they put it on, I think, the Bloomberg network that night. And yeah, no, Trump is like, he's a real one.
Are you getting 2024 under that 2016 over there?
So I say to everybody, this is such a special thing to me, and like the way I got it, just fooling around, just being drunk with my buddies,
Yep.
And then I end up meeting him, that it's like, I never want to get anything else, because it would be like when you try to outdo, when you have a great movie, How many movies do you see where they do a sequel and you're like, oh my god, you should have just left? Like Zoolander 2.
Oh,
Zoolander is my favorite my favorite comedy of all time.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
Merman.
Merman.
Dude, it's the best. And then Zoolander 2 was well, it felt like watching a terrorist attack. It was like, you're ruining my favorite movie. So in honor and respect to that time and that moment, because I've thought of that. Boy, trust me, I've thought of it. I'm like, I got to get some 24. But it's just, this is, I fucking love this thing.
Me too. It's
And,
great.
yeah.
All the Trump haters just officially clicked unfollow on his account. He's voting for him in 2024.
You know what the thing is? I feel like people don't hate him like they used to.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like he's become a lot more mainstreamified.
Well, I feel like the media just portrays that picture like no matter
There
what.
are some cuckoos out there
Yeah.
that
They-
really, truly.
I mean, they
like,
definitely still exist, but I think ever since, I think the big change was, and I could tell you when it was because I'm literally out there, dressed as him. I used to go around, me or Biden, when Biden was the candidate, and I noticed a distinct shift in the public's response to me dressed as him last August when he got arrested, indicted in Atlanta, and got the mugshot taken. That was like this shift. And since then, it's only gotten, like, the public has gotten more cool with him. Like, mainstream public, whatever, pop culture. There's still people who hate his guts, think he's Hitler, all that shit. But I think it's less and less and less.
kind of really made those on the fence people really buy into it's the establishment versus him and us.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that the mugshot really got people believing that.
Yeah.
We see a lot of people in the comments, man, that say if Trump doesn't win this guy for president, what would be the first thing you did if you were in fact elected into office?
Boy, that's a good question. This might be controversial, and this is mostly a joke, but I feel like you talk about, like, make America great again. I feel like when America was really great, we could use the word retarded. And it's like, no offense against anybody. Like, you know, I know a lot. My girlfriend, you know, her mom, her aunt, she has like several mentally retarded aunts and all. And I've, you know, they're great people and whatever. Like, no. But it's just like, I feel like when I was a kid, you could use certain words. And I feel like you can't legislate that. But I would want to just like, yeah, I feel like I'm kind of persuasive. And I feel like if I could just talk to the American people, I would look them at the camera in the Oval Office or wherever and be like, look, guys. Let's just bring back certain words, all right? No hate. No. I also feel like when people were able to joke around more, there was like less racism or whatever. And I feel like when they were like, no, you can't talk about this, like the alphabet people, you can't say the alphabet. I feel like now more people are almost getting like homophobic or racist or whatever. But I feel like if you could joke around and like look at SNL in like the 80s and stuff, they were like, it was like way more crazy than it is now. And I just feel like, you know, people were just more chill. So I honestly feel like more freedom of speech, more First Amendment, like the more. And I also feel like joking around about race and stuff. Like when I was a mover in Brooklyn, and I worked with like, I mean, dude, it was like it was like the black guy, the Muslim guy, and everybody just joked around and everybody got along. But I feel like when they're like, you can't say this, you can't say that, then people sort of like just go stick with their own group, and then things start to get a little dicey in terms of like, you know, like bigotry and stuff, you know?
No, I hear you, man. And going like even like you said, like now like there's movies back then that they could never make now.
Oh yeah.
Like Not Another Teen Movie, like Scream. Like you can't make movies like that.
Yeah.
Like even Zoolander would be really touchy-feely on that subject, you know?
We got to make movies great again.
Yeah. I mean, you guys know my favorite movie of all time, Borat. That would never
Oh,
happen. That
dude.
would never happen today.
Dude, Borat is and Borat's a really good point because they made a Borat 2. Now, Borat 2, in my opinion, wasn't as bad as Zoolander 2, but I feel like, you know, they talk about like woke movies and stuff. I feel like Borat 1 was considered super offensive, but it was actually, I feel like, making the points, certain points that woke people want to make, but it was doing it by being funny. Now, in Borat 2, where it was just like, I love my daughter, women should be celebrated. It was just like, what the you know what I mean? Like, it was just like, you could have made that joke, they made that point better in Borat 1, when they actually tried to do it in a more overt way. Does that make sense?
No,
You
it
get what I'm
does.
saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So many people stray from politics in their work.
Mm-hmm.
How challenging is it for politics to be your thing, to be your bread and butter?
So it's an interesting question because I obviously have my personal viewpoints, and for the longest time, I tried to be what's the word? Like I had like liberals thought I was making fun of Trump. Conservatives are like, he loves Trump, which is the truth. I do love Trump. But it's like, and I feel like even like, it's funny. It's like liberals are either like, no, he likes Trump, or no, he's making fun of Trump. But pretty much all like conservatives or Republicans, whatever the hell you want to call it. I hate putting labels on things, but they're all like, yeah, he gets Trump, he appreciates Trump. So it's like, I feel like I'm still, even to this day, in this weird gray ground where I still have people who are like Trump haters that like what I do, even though I feel like, especially like in recent months, I've been like more and more and more like openly pro-Trump.
Okay.
But like, I'm still like, listen, I believe I'm a comedian first and a political person second. Like, at the end of the day, I just want to be funny.
Exactly.
Like, I want to be funny. I want to make people happy. Like that to me, because I see certain comedians, and I won't mention names, but they go like full on dive in. I'm a Republican comedian, or I'm a Democrat comedian, and I feel like, yeah, I get my point across, but I don't know, when I see people go full on like, this is what I am, I don't like that.
Yeah.
I'm not even registered to a party, and I'm not a comedian. I don't want to be tied to something, because in the drop of a hat, I could switch sides.
Oh, 100%.
Politicians are the flakiest motherfuckers we know.
I couldn't agree
And
more.
I'm not tying myself to left, right, center, Republican, Democrat, liberal, libertarian, nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, and I just feel like politics in general, like, I don't know, like, it's a sleazy thing. Like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I've done Trump, like, I've been hired to perform at like Trump events, and it's like, it's like a bunch of like super religious people, like evangelical Christian or whatever. But then it's like at the after party, I'm like, whoa, where'd the evangelical Christian go? You know what I'm saying? Like, just, like, psh, I don't want to say too much, but it's just like,
She's praying to him in the stall.
Yeah, I just feel like there's a lot of, politics it's very snaky. There's a lot of fakeness. I feel like on every side.
Without doubt.
And that's in the political, like at the political functions, like people who are like, I'm a professional Republican, I'm a pollster, I'm a senator, I'm that person's team or whatever. People, just regular people at home that identify as Democrat or Republican, that's different. But I mean, like, political stuff, it's just like anything else. It's sex, drugs, rock and roll. I mean, on both sides.
I'm
that's
sure.
That's facts.
That's like Hollywood.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
100%.
We've heard so, like, a couple of your impressions. So far, we've only been doing this 20 minutes now. What would be your favorite impersonation that you do?
So,
Or the one that you hold like closest to you.
So I think because I do Trump so much, and because, listen, let's be honest, Trump has been the most lucrative for me, and just opened so many doors, that, that's the one. And the more you do something, the better you get. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, but I love doing Cat Williams. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are here at Governor's Motherfucking Comedy Club on the Oven Podcast. Like, I love doing him.
That was fucking awesome, dude.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I love doing Cat. Bill Burr, it's like the Oven Pod. All right? Now we're here at Governor's, I did, I put a video of me impersonating Bill Burr online, and Vanity Fair picked it up, and they had Bill reacting to a bunch of impressions of him, and I was one of them. And
I think I've seen this actually.
And he's like, yeah, this guy's great. He liked that, I was really physical with it. I did a lot of this, a lot of like physical, like leaning back. And he's like, this is like, I think he said, he goes, that's me in like 04. And he's like watching all these impressions of me. He goes, it's like tasting wines. It's like, oh, that's a Burr 04. Oh, that's me 08. Like, yeah. So
That's great.
So yeah, I love doing Burr. I love Sebastian. In terms of the most fun to do, I would say, obviously Trump, but Sebastian, Cat, Burr. I mean, these are people I really like and admire and respect. And I think, I think when you're impersonating somebody, you have to find something in them that you like in order to, because you're becoming them. It's like even Biden. I'm not a Biden guy, but when I'm out there, I'm not like, look at Alec Baldwin. He was that was clearly like a hit job on Trump. Like he just hated Trump and it was very like kind of mean-spirited. So that wasn't an honest interpretation of Trump. It was more just like a smear job.
Yep.
But like, I don't do that when I do Biden. I don't necessarily like Biden. I don't think he's a good president or whatever. But when I imitate Biden, I'm not thinking, oh, I hate this guy. I'm making fun of him, and I just feel like I'm staying true to I definitely highlight what I think are the negative parts of him. But when I'm Biden, I become Biden. You feel me? So I'm not like,
relax,
yeah, right. Getting into the zone right now. So I'm not just like, fuck this guy. Like, I'm Biden.
Well, no, before Biden, regardless of your political views, before Biden lost it, his political persona was something you can get into.
Right. He was like a normal guy. Yeah. He was a good speaker. I remember back in the day, like Obama 08 when Biden went, I was like, man, that guy could talk,
Yeah.
Kind of fell apart. Obviously, he's old. It's sad, you know what I mean? They kept him in there for a long time, way past his prime. I think his wife is like kind of like behind it. Like she was drunk on that power and shit. But
That power.
yeah, dude, after the debate, she's like, good job, Joe. You answered all the questions. And I'm like, bro, this is supposed to be the president of the United States. His wife is like, you answered all the questions, Joe. It's
Good job, honey.
Yeah, but yeah, you can't. I don't think you could properly imitate a person while being like, I hate this person. Like, you have to find something about them that you could, I guess, like, and then that's how it comes out. That's just me. That's just my
No, it makes sense, though. It
technique.
definitely makes sense.
I see where you're coming from with
Yeah.
that. I want to turn the page away from politics for a second. We're all Long Island guys here. I know you said you're back on Long Island. You were sleeping in your parents' closet this weekend or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
No, so Levittown, born and raised. I want to do a little overrated, underrated.
Okay.
If you think it's overrated,
Okay.
give us
Sure.
a better option.
Okay.
Fred's Deli.
Fred's Deli. I would say underrated. I would say it's pretty damn good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I never had a bad time at Fred's.
Yeah.
No, me neither.
All American.
I would say maybe I haven't had it in a very long time, but I would say maybe a little overrated. I mean, I think there's certain burger spots that I would say are better, but like I said, I haven't had All American in probably over a decade. But
Wow.
That long.
yeah, that long. But from what I would remember, I would actually say a little overrated. That's just me.
Overrated. So, what in terms of drive-in burgers? What Long Island spot is better?
Like specifically Long Island.
Yeah.
Um,
I'll throw one at you. Have you had Burger City?
I have not had
Down in
Burger
East Meadow?
City. I have not had Burger City. I gotta try Burger City. Yeah, I don't know. It's been a long time since I've gotten like a local burger spot. It's been quite a long time. But yeah, I would still say All American. A little bit over compared to
Teeny
some
bit.
other spots. Yeah.
Okay. Have you been to Krish's?
Krish's?
The ice cream.
The ice cream place?
The
Oh,
ice
dude.
No.
Chris is unbelievable. Chris might be the best ice cream on Long Island.
Where is that?
That's in Massapequa.
Massapequa.
Oh, okay. I gotta check it out.
The whipped cream is unbelievable. It's like straight from the cow's tit. I swear to God.
It's all he talks about the last time I went there. I'm like, bro, shut up. Like, stop saying that out loud.
It's so creamy. Last one from me. Umberto's. I'm talking the real New Hyde Park or the one in Wantagh. The real Umberto's.
Umberto's. Yeah, I've had Umberto's. I would say, Underrated. I think it's great. I don't think it's overrated.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big Umberto's guy.
Yeah.
I like Vincenzo's over in Levittown a little bit better, but
We love Vincenzo's. We love Vincenzo's. You got any for me, Frank?
Overrated or underrated?
Yeah.
Man, I wanted to know, like, growing up here in Levittown, like, what was like one of your favorite things about, like, your childhood growing up here? Like the Tri-County Fair?
The Tri-County Fair.
Right in this parking lot? That used to be dangerous back in the day, man.
Yeah, I remember a couple stabbings here and there. Yeah, I don't know, the Tri-County Fair, hanging out in Sumps.
Exactly.
That's very much a local thing that I think people from other places don't really know. Yeah, the first time I ever smoked weed was in a sump, and I'm not a big weed guy, but that's like that's a forever memory. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Franco's first hand job was in a sump.
Lucky you. I never got one of those in a sump.
Sitting on the storm drain.
She just lubed up the hand with the murky water. Just fucking.
Yeah, I don't know, just drinking like Natty Lights.
Yeah.
At like house parties. That's the first time I ever got drunk ever in my life was in at the playground, right there, right behind Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh yeah, okay, on Bluegrass.
Yes.
Yep.
With a guy who ended up going to prison after we graduated for manslaughter.
Jesus. No big deal.
Yeah, a little boozing and driving, but
oh shit.
Yeah. Well, it's R.I.P. to the other guy. I also went to school with him. Yeah, just mainly just like the parties. I mean, it all revolves around alcohol. I was like a big drinker, like in high school and I guess early college days.
Where'd you go to college at?
I went to Nassau, but I dropped out. I was not a fan of college. I don't like any. There's one thing about me. I don't like too much structure, too much. I mean, I'm disciplined. I'm very disciplined, and I'm very like I'm not like a slack. Like I work hard, but I've been through a couple managers. Anytime I have too much corporate structure around me, they're like, "You should do this. We'll send in a guy." I'm like, "No. I'm more like Picasso. Just throw shit at the fucking canvas and
throw shit at the wall.
You know what I mean? Like,
whatever sticks.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah. Where was I? Where? How did I get there? Oh, we were talking about the local stuff growing up.
I thought you were doing a Biden impression for a second.
Oh, walk into the wall. Yeah, just the friends and the times, and also it's like, man. Like I was born in '91, like the 2000s. That was a great time.
2000s was amazing.
That was
the cartoons, the music.
Oh my God,
you can't beat it.
Everything. Jersey Shore debuted my last couple of years of high school, and they're still on. That's classic.
Are they? Yeah. So they've been doing like the Jersey Shore reunions and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
It's a little different now.
Yeah, it's different, but yeah, good times. And I was like, yeah. Good time. Lil Wayne was the biggest rapper in the world. I feel like if you could measure, like, because at that point everybody was downloading songs. I think if they actually still had record sales, Lil Wayne would have beat like Thriller. Like,
dude, it was he was insane back then. I mean, he still is. But
we talk about him all the time.
Yeah. No, he's one of the greatest of all time. And just the vibe, the whole. Yeah, he's one of the goats. Yeah.
There's so many songs from him. We've talked about. There's so many songs that are on his EPs that you can't get on like Apple Music or Spotify. Nothing like that.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, my favorite, Live from the 504. Like, you don't find that anywhere. It's crazy.
Yeah.
The Rapper Eater.
Yeah. So you talked about Trump, the Trump impersonation opening up some doors for you, and I saw you at the UFC fights, and I work with Fox Sports Radio, so we cover all like the local UFC fights, so, like the ones at the Garden, ones at MSG, all the local stuff. So I love seeing like Trump walk out, with Dana White, Kid Rock, like Tucker Carlson. You're like, and the place goes louder for him than almost any other fighter.
Yeah,
it's like so cool, but opening these doors for you.
I had the pleasure of walking out with SteveWillDoIt dressed as Trump.
Yep, I was going to ask about this.
And yeah, it was almost like it's so surreal that the first time it happened, I wasn't like filming. I was just in the moment, no phone, just looking around. Steve, and Trump, and I'm like shaking hands and stuff. And then the second time I had the pleasure and honor of doing that, I had my phone out, so I'm like, but that first time, I was in the moment. I didn't even think of taking the phone out. The second time, I mean, that to me is one of the best blessings that I've ever had. Getting to hang out with Dana backstage, making Dana laugh. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, you know, ever since goes back to third grade when I started doing it, I loved making people laugh. You know what I'm saying? And then to have Dana White, who's such a cool guy.
Dana's the man.
He's a very, very charming human being and nice and cool, and he's just the best. And to make him, like, for instance, one of the UFC matches, I think it was UFC 300, or maybe it was 303, Donald Trump Jr. was there, and before I actually got a video with Trump Jr., I was sitting there, and I'm scanning the room, you know, because there's celebrities all over the place.
Everywhere.
You got Chef Gordon Ramsay over there, so I'm scanning the room. I'm just going boop, 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 boom. Me and Don Jr. lock eyes. So I'm just like, I give him one of these. I'm like, hey, I give him a thumbs up, and he does the same exact. He's like, hey, and gives me a thumbs up. So then, okay. Then I go back to the you know, the room where everybody is hanging out with the food and the snacks and everything, and I'm like, yeah, I gotta get back out there. And I was talking to Steiny, Nelk fans, you know Steiny, and Steiny was like, just go back out, just go get him, you know. So I'm like, yeah, okay, because I was gonna wait for Steve or whatever, but I'm like, wait, I got the bracelet. If I got the bracelet, I can go back out there. So I went back out, and he actually wanted a selfie with me, so we took a selfie. And then I started doing the impression. We shook hands. Then Dana comes in and Dana goes, you got to see his Biden. And I'm like, yo, big ups. Like, the fact that Dana was like, yeah, I know this guy. You got to see his Biden. I was like, hoo. It was some magical shit, man. It's incredible.
It's awesome, man. Yeah, the UFC, man, is just like star-studded everywhere.
It's also just the most positive place like I've ever been. Like, you think these guys are ripping each other apart in the cage, but it's like the most positive vibes of any sporting event, any event that I've ever been to. Like, it's just
it's different.
It's different.
It's different.
It's super cool.
I saw you with Tony Hinchcliffe.
Yes.
Fuck Tony.
Yeah, so that day I got everybody. I got Tony, I got Jelly Roll, I got Don Jr. Yeah, Tony. Tony got into some trouble at the Trump rally yesterday,
man. You see that?
He knows what he's doing. He's a shock comic. Like, he says shocking. He's the roaster. You know, he knows what he's doing. And also, he's another guy. I don't want to compare myself to anybody, but he built his own thing. I'm building my own. When you build your own thing, they can't really, like, cancel you.
You're untouchable.
That's true.
Yeah, that's why they don't like Joe Rogan.
I never thought about it like that.
Yeah. I always call it a pirate ship. I'm like, I got like a pirate ship. Because, like, I can go anywhere, do anything. You know, thank God I'm making my own money. It's just like, it's a pirate ship, you know? I'm just sailing around the seven seas, boom, boom, boom. And, like, if you're, like, tied down to if you work at a network or you work for Netflix or something, that's not to say God bless. If Netflix offers me something, sure. But it's just like, you know.
Come on, Netflix. But, dude, before Franco hits you with a couple finishing questions, just remind everyone where they can find you on social media.
So you can find me at Jason Scoop on Instagram, at Jason Scoop Comedy on TikTok, and Jason Scoop Comedy on YouTube. And also, I'm on Cameo. That's a big thing. Christmas, the holiday season is right around the corner. Happy Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa. Yeah, hit me up for a personalized Trump video for Christmas, birthdays, everything. That's a big thing. And I do stand up. This year I've toured Texas, Dallas, Ohio, Atlantic City, Los Angeles, New York City. So I'm trying to put together like a whole tour.
Hell yeah.
Come like next year, a whole thing. So just keep your eyes open for that.
Good shit.
Yeah. Oh, and right here at Governor's, man. Shout out to James, Ozzy. That's a whole nother thing. That's some like emotional shit because Ozzy kind of got me in here, and I just bumped into Ozzy on the street up in Little Italy in the Bronx. What is it? Arthur Ave.
Yep.
I was there with my buddy Ron Barba.
Ron
You
Barba,
guys had
baby.
Ron on.
Ron Barba.
Ron is one of my best friends in the world. I mean, love that guy. He's a special dude. And he had helped me the day that I blew up at the courthouse with Trump's indictment. Ron was the one filming me. So he was doing this food podcast.
Yep.
So to return the favor, I went up to the Bronx with him. And then afterwards at a cigar event with Chazz Palminteri, that's where I met Ozzy. And then met Ozzy, hit it off with Ozzy. He's like, we got to get you at Governor's. And I auditioned here on the stage. They're like, go up and audition. I was like, there's no audience. I performed for James, Ozzy, Ozzy's 2 daughters, the cook, and like one other person, the guy sweeping in the back, and boom, you know? Yeah, so.
I love that. So that's like full circle here, man. So Governor's played a pretty big role in your influence in comedy.
I mean, 100%. I say to everyone, it's like really like I'm really like the sky's the limit. It's like people. I feel like people put themselves in a box, and it's like, well, okay, I guess I could do this, I could do that, or well, I guess I can go to college and do this. And nothing against college, but it's like I really feel like if you have the right ingredients, the right amount of hard work, belief in yourself, chance, luck, whatever you want to call it. I actually happen to not. I want to get your take on this. I don't really believe in luck. I feel like you make your own luck.
Okay.
But I feel like, let's just put it this way. I feel like there's like a supernatural element to it, but I feel like your own actions help your luck. Let's just say that.
I'd say I would agree like wholeheartedly on that. I feel like it's all energy. Yeah. It's all like what you're putting out there.
1000%.
Like for me, like if I think I'm like I can't go out there and be like, oh, I'm gonna fail. You know, like this isn't gonna work.
You will.
It's like, then why the fuck are you even gonna do it?
Exactly.
You're like, why start?
Yeah.
It's luck is like, I don't know. I think I'd have to like 100% agree.
Yeah.
Like you make your own luck here.
100%. And like, what are the chances that like Ron and then I return the favor? We're up in the Bronx, and then Ozzy's sitting right there, and then we hit it off, and then we became friends. Like I hang out with Ozzy and Big Time Tommy and that whole crew. And,
yeah.
You know, it's just like let's just put it this way: the world becomes a lot smaller the more you put yourself out there. Because if you just stay at home, like there's a quote, 90% of success is showing up. And it's a show business quote, but I think it goes for any profession.
Yeah, life.
But it's just like, just go outside. Just like, you know, and then like doing all this stuff, SteveWillDoIt discovered me. Because I did all that other stuff. Then he calls me, and then next thing you know, I'm at UFC, and I'm in the studio with Lil Baby, and then they wanted me, you know, I do the African American. They wanted me to do it. Lil Baby acted offended or whatever, and then Lil Baby. I don't want to talk shit about anybody, but I will talk shit about Lil Baby. Lil Baby's an asshole. He cheated in dice with Steve and Steiny, and you know, and then he was like acting like he like. Basically, he was bullying Steiny because he was the smallest guy, which is not cool. And then, like, he kind of came at me, but then I made him laugh.
With what? How'd you make him laugh?
So he was like, yo, nah, we ain't gonna do that African-American shit. But then I was just like, I just kept doing the impression. And I hit I was just like, pop, pop, pop. And he's like, damn, baby, you good, though, you good. Like, you know. He thought he got me, but I was like, I ain't gonna let Lil Baby get me. Yeah. So, yeah. I don't know. My point is, I'm trying to give a positive message. It's like, you know, anybody can do anything. Literally, anybody can do anything, and anybody could get perfect at anything. Just do it. Just keep doing it. Anybody could master anything. I don't care if it's violin, piano, sports, anything.
Repetition, man.
Repetition.
So it's all about.
Yeah.
So you brought up Cameo.
Mm-hmm. What's
the most ridiculous thing that you've been asked to do on Cameo?
Oh boy, that's a good question. So, I've had people, I've had people ask me as Trump to literally propose to their spouse. Will you marry Jeremy? Which is crazy to me. That's how much people love Donald Trump. I've had people ask me to announce that to their family that they're having a child. I've had people ask me as Trump to ask somebody to be the godfather or godmother of their kid. But to me, The coolest one that is almost like a little sentimental is I've had at least 3 people now who love Trump and they have a family member, like a close family member, like a brother or a sister or like a mom or a dad who hates Trump, and they stop talking to them. And they're like, maybe your humor could help put our family back together. Which is like, to me, that's really sweet. To me, that's
awesome.
like, yeah, to have people like ask me to do that, that feels good, that I could be a part of that. I've never gotten any feedback that it worked, but yeah, but
That was gonna be my next question.
yeah. So I've had that happen a couple times, and yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I've had people come up to me on the street and be like, "Yo, I hated Trump's guts, but your impression of him made me support him." So
It's crazy how far, like, you know, how many people you can reach out to.
Yeah.
Just by sitting behind the camera.
yeah, and it's also the power of comedy.
Yeah. Yes.
Because there's like it goes back to what I was saying before about humor over the political beliefs. It's like there's people out there who impersonate Trump and they're very political, like very overtly political. And it's like they want to be like new, like political commentators, but they're not getting anybody over to their side. Me, what I'm doing, I don't mean to toot my own horn, but it's like I've had multiple people come up to me on the street, young people, whatever people, like, yo, I hated that guy, and like your videos made me like I'm like a diehard fan now. And it's like when I hear something like that, obviously, yeah, it affects me a little bit because it's like, wow, look at that. It's like I'm having a as tiny or whatever size it could be effect on the actual world. Like we're about to have an election again. It's looking like he's ahead. And then there's something else I can't even say. I can only tell you guys off camera. I can't say this on camera, but yeah.
Okay.
Well, wait.
I don't have to cut it out. Good job. Thanks.
I got a couple more for you. I want to go back to the Fred's Deli. So obviously Long Island is known for its bacon, egg, and cheeses.
Mm-hmm.
It's known for its bagels. So are you a bacon, egg, and cheese, sausage, egg, and cheese, or turkey, egg, and cheese kind of guy?
So
If you say turkey and cheese, get the fuck out.
no, God, no. I would say I fluctuate. But gun to my head, it would be bacon, egg, and cheese. But I love sausage, egg, and cheese. But gun to my head, bacon, egg, and cheese would be my go-to. I would order a bacon, egg, and cheese more often than a sausage, egg, and cheese.
You putting it on a bagel? You put it on a roll? Or
On a roll.
On a roll?
On
Okay.
a roll. On a roll. I rarely get anything on a bagel other than cream cheese.
If I'm not at a bagel spot, I don't get bagel.
I was gonna say that.
If I'm at a bagel spot, I get it on egg everything bagel.
Yep.
If I'm at a deli, it's on a roll.
Yeah.
And you can't, like, for me, I love ketchup, but not on my eggs.
That I disagree with you
Like
on
salt,
that.
pepper, and hot sauce, I go.
I'm salt, pepper, ketchup, and mayo.
Ketchup and mayo, huh?
Ketchup and mayo. Occasionally hot sauce, but typically ketchup and mayo.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I would also say Long Island has far superior bacon, egg, and cheese spots to New York City.
I would
Just
agree with
per
that
capita,
also.
per capita overall. Yeah,
But mayo on the eggs.
yeah, that's a big thing for me.
I've heard that before.
Yeah,
I've heard it.
yeah.
I want your Mount Rushmore of comedians.
How many guys are on Mount Rushmore? 4?
Yeah, 4.
I'm glad you asked Franco that question because I always forget.
Norm Macdonald, Dave Chappelle, Louis C.K. Even though some of his stuff, but he's a genius. He's a legitimate genius. This is really tough because there's so many comedians that I like. But if this is the Mount Rushmore, Chappelle, Norm, Louis, and Bill Burr.
Just like that. That's a great Mount Rushmore right there.
Just like that, yeah. Yeah, but like I said, there are a lot of honorable mentions. Like Sebastian. I love Sebastian. I love Eddie Griffin. He's like this black guy who was big in like the 90s, early. I love his energy. Like his, just the way he... Chris Rock back in the day, his later stuff, but back in the day, holy crap. But yeah, Norm, Chappelle, and I've had the honor of. I hosted shows for Norm at Caroline's 2 years before he passed away. I always say, greatest honor of my entire political career. I don't care if I go on the Netflix special, host the Oscars, perform comedy on the moon. I don't care. Working with Norm Macdonald, that's nothing can ever beat that. Especially now he's dead.
Yeah.
He's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to perform on a show with Dave Chappelle at the Hollywood Improv. That was it. That was a great night. That was Donnell Rawlings' birthday show. At the time, I had this guy managing me. He also manages Donnell. That was a great night. And then Burr, he reacted to my impression, I guess. And then who was it? The other one I said was Burr. Louis. I've never met Louis. I've never had a Louis.
Some of his stuff gets too dark for me.
Yeah. That's why I said his because he puts out so much material, so it could be a little uneven. It's like I felt like back in the day, Dane Cook. Anyone who grew up,
Dane Cook was the man when we were younger.
He would have the greatest jokes in the world, but then some of the worst jokes at the same. Like I always felt his work was uneven. It'd be like, this is the greatest thing I ever had. Like I had the CD, the dub when I used to drive around with the Dane Cook Greatest Hits CD, and it'd be like the best joke in the world. The next track would be like, 4 out of 10, and then the next one would be 11 out of 10. So he was a little uneven. He's another one that got kind of dark because I feel like he got so much hate.
So he was the first one that really got like it almost felt like he like excommunicated from the comedy world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was, and
it was like after Employee of the Month, like everyone fucking hated him.
Dude, I always say this is how like people just believe what society tells them to believe. Because I remember the summer of 9th grade, like all of 9th grade, everybody loved Dane Cook. Dane Cook references, everybody was quoting Dane Cook jokes. It was Dane Cook. The summer between 9th and 10th grade, the first day of 10th grade, like, man, fuck Dane Cook. Yo, you like Dane Cook? Loser! Like,
L for love.
Yeah. Like, so.
Damn.
Yeah.
So I feel like I already know the answer to this question, but one person that you could sit down to dinner with and ask any questions to, dead or alive, who would they be? Who would your answer be?
One person. Michael Jackson, did you touch those kids? No. No. I do love Michael Jackson, though.
Yes, I did.
I think he did. I'll be honest. I think he did. One person, if I could sit down, dead or alive.
And you wanted to shoot from the hip.
Gun to your head.
Jesus.
Wow.
Jesus Christ.
Why Jesus?
Because, well, okay, so I definitely believe in God. I even go to church on occasion, but I just want to, I want to meet him and be like, so I want to pick his brain. Like, did you come back? Did you walk on water and shit? Yeah, that's 100% him. Because I was thinking of like George Washington, different. I thought of Elon Musk. But it's like at the end of the day, compared to JC, I gotta get J because that's cutting to the meat. You know what I mean? That's getting straight to the. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The important stuff.
That's going straight to the top.
100%. So yeah, Jesus.
Well, listen, the way the world's going, you might see him sooner than you think.
So true. So true.
Jason, dude, thank you. I
you.
appreciate it. This has been great.
Man, that was great.
Thank you,
Seriously,
guys.
That was
Thank you.
so much fun. How about a couple pumps to take us home, right? Couple pumps?
Oh, there we go.
Couple bumps, as long
Look
as
at
it's not a
that.
couple bumps, right?
Look at that, right? We got to stay away from those bumps, right? Hunter loves the bumps. Look at that. We love the dance. And then does a little hip action. Do, 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 do. You know what's funny? Steve will do it. Steve knows Trump. He's gifted Trump a Rolex. And we'll just drive around, and Steve will just blast, what is it, the YMCA song, the Trump, and Steve will just, YMCA. It's just, Steve will do it, is one of the funnest guys. Whatever you see on YouTube or X or wherever you see him, Instagram, that's exactly who he is, man.
I love to hear that.
Yeah, he's just fun, loves life, electric personality, and he'll just dance around a YMCA. Steve will do it'll drink till 4 a.m. and be up at 5 at the gym.
Wow.
He's not human. Yeah. He's
Man, well, remember when we were growing up, when he first started, he was just absolutely burying bottles of liquor.
Yeah.
He would just take unopened bottles and just chug them. I'm sitting there like that. We used to watch that like in school. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah, dude, he's like superhuman. It's insane.
But I am happy to hear that though. He seems like, in like a world of like fake and just cringe people, like especially in the social media world, he seems like just like a real ass dude.
Yeah, he's as real as it gets. Yeah.
Love to hear that.
Dude, thanks again.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, dude.
We're the
was
Oven
a lot of fun.
Podcast. Follow us on all socials. Keep sharing the show. Spank that subscribe button on YouTube. And don't forget, there's always an open seat for you at the Oven.
Yes, sir.
Keep it cooking in the oven. The oven. Yep. The oven. The oven. The oven. Yep. The oven. The oven smells good. The oven. Yep. The oven. The oven. Yep.